you say, as we watch Spain build up now, there you go, 2, 4, 4, just those 2 centre-backs inside their own half, and the full-backs, Jordi Alba and Marcos Llorente, just bombing on. Ooh, late challenge on Pedri, who's caught there. The referee didn't like that. Referee this evening, by the way, Slovenian Slavko Vincic. Spanish fans want a yellow card for that. And it's almost though Vincic puts his hands out and says to the entire stadium, hang on, I'm in control. Not given a yellow card for that. That was late though, wasn't it, from Christopher Olsen?
Olsen's letting Pedri know he's there, because he's had a lot of the ball and he's a young player, and he's gone, hold on, I'm going to get my foot in here. And to be fair, Sweden haven't had a lot of the ball, if any. Also, it's frustrating as a player when all you're doing is chasing shadows. You just move from side to side. You feel like a crab football. And sometimes you just do lash out, and it is one of those things. But as you said, the referee's got it under control.
Pedri's made a really bright, confident start, and we shouldn't be surprised by that, considering the impression he's made for Barcelona this season. He's floating a ball across the Swedish half to Llorente, forward to Torres, curling passing. Morata trying to get the first-time shot away. Danielson in with a really important challenge. Morata went down, picks himself up. The two of them go shoulder to shoulder, and eventually the ball goes out for a Spanish throw. That was a clever cross in.
It was a really smart ball, because you're thinking in that situation it was going to be whipped in, and it was just a slight little dink in behind. But credit to Danielson, he's been colossal so far, reading the situations. Morata is a physical presence as well, playing well all season. So Danielson's had a really good start, reading the game well.
Got a little guessing game for you in a second. Karen, John Southwell, our producer's just sent me the early stats on the match. 13 minutes in.
Possession.
Yeah, percentage. How much do you think Spain have had?
Oh, 80s?
Higher.
No, 90?
90% possession in the first 13 minutes of the game. 2 shots, none on target. Those are your stats so far.
The player that I would hate to be in the 10% of possession now. I wasn't one of those runners, so I wouldn't be happy out there.
Koke moving the ball along quickly down the right-hand side. Horns blaring inside the stadium. Marcos Llorente fires across the face of the penalty area. Sweden are able to deal with that. Christopher Olsen, I mean, a rare touch of the ball, just smashes it downfield. There's no one there for him, and it comes through to Unai Simon, who has had absolutely nothing to do so far. 14 minutes in, all Spain, and here comes Pedri again. Silky first touch, kills it with his left foot, holds on to it as the challenge comes in. Got a little close-up of him there as well. I mean, he looks 18, really boyish looks about him. Dark hair swept across his forehead. The ball comes wide to Marcos Llorente. Llorente with his right foot back to Laporte. Laporte playing the ball into the heart of midfield. Pedri collects it, moves it to the left. Jordi Alba plays it back to him. Steady pace from Spain here, and again Sweden, every outfield player sitting deep inside their own half. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Played almost 15 minutes here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Pedri, inside left channel, just inside the Swedish half, turns, clips the ball with his right foot and skids off the top of the pitch. Laporte controls it, plays it to Koke. Koke side foots one to Ferran Torres, who's been staying wide. Llorente's beyond him, wide on the right. Rodri under pressure in central midfield. And back they come to the centre-backs again.
Spain, Koke's coming really out wide. He's coming really wide, and he's causing Forsberg a problem because he can't get out to him. And then the two wide players, Larsson and Forsberg for Sweden, they're playing pretty much as left back and right back, and that's why they can't get any pressure on the ball, and it's just complete dominance from Spain at the moment.
Quick 1-2 between Koke and Morata. Ball in from Koke, headed down, good save by Robin Olsen. Ferran Torres with the header, thought it might creep into the bottom corner. Great reactions from the Swedish keeper, and he's palmed it behind for a corner to Spain. It's Dani Olmo who's behind Ferran Torres with the header. Down it goes, decent header. Good save from Olsen.
I tell you what, that's a fantastic save, and I think Olsen should have scored, but I think he was put off slightly. The corner's been taken, Ali, sorry.
No, you're okay. Karen will come back to it in a second. Spain got the hurry up here. Not the best ball into the penalty area from the short corner from Jordi Alba. It's headed away, and Marcos Llorente turns on the halfway line and comes all the way back to Simon.
Well, I was explaining just before how Koke was going a little bit deeper, and he was the one that actually put the cross in from the right-hand side, and I think he was looking for Morata, and Morata missed it, and then Olsen kind of wasn't expecting it, got a glance on it. Look, it was a fantastic save because he glanced it down and bounced caused a problem for Olsen, but...
Do you think if he had a clear view of the cross,
he would have scored that, yeah. I think he would have had a better connection, but look, he still got a connection. It was an awkward bounce, so it was a fantastic save.
Yep. Robin Olsen, Swedish choice in goal. Important early save in the game. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Aymeric Laporte, second cap for Spain, having won 17 as an under-21 international for France, but Didier Deschamps opted not to use him. Spain have the benefit. Here they come. Down the left, almost cross it. Good ball, dangerous, headed behind by Augustinsson, with Ferran Torres breathing down his neck at the far post.
It's gone out for a goal kick. I think it did come off Torres at the back post, I think.
Oh, just hit him.
He was heading it out,
yeah.
Augustinsson, and it then came off Torres lastly. But these balls coming in from wide areas are really, really dangerous, because what the Spanish side are doing is there's actually no one in there when they're picking up the ball, but then all of a sudden they make these third-man runs and they just ghost in there really, really late and quite aggressively, and that's what's difficult for the Swedish back line. But credit to them, they switched on the Swedish back line.
Robin Olsen, goalkeeper in his light grey short sleeve shirt, clears the ball downfield with his right foot, headed out by Rodri. Throw in to Sweden. A couple of belting games for you on 5 Live tomorrow. 5 o'clock kickoff. This is Group F, which will be intensely competitive. Hungary against Portugal. Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton bring you the commentary of that one. I think I'm right in saying as well that Budapest is full capacity as a stadium, so that will be a fabulous atmosphere to listen to as well. And then France, Germany at 8 o'clock.
Average game there, Ali. Nothing.
That's going to be.
I don't know what the hype's all about.
No, that should be really good. John Murray and Dion Dublin with that commentary for you tomorrow night. Marcus Llorente takes control for Spain. Back to Koke. Forsberg closes him down. Laporte to Koke, wide on the right, midway inside this Swedish half. Llorente lays it off to Torres. Back to Llorente. Drags the ball onto his right foot. Looks for the run of Torres, intercepted by Danielson. Off balance with the clearance, weak clearance intercepted by Rodri. The ball is quickly played out to Jordi Alba, miscontrols it, leapt up and hit his hand. Referee spotted it and has given a free kick to Sweden. That's a let-off.
Yeah, it is, and it's now just a time for Sweden to take a breather, you know, slow the game down. They've had very little possession, as you've said, you know, just manage the situation, you know, 20-odd minutes in, have a breather. I saw it yesterday with the England side, actually, at times when they were under pressure. In tournament football, you've got to be able to understand the pressure you're under and try and relinquish it as best as you can.
Robin Olsen clears with his right foot for Sweden. Aerial challenge on the halfway line, won by Llorente. Koke pings the ball back here to Pau Torres, the Villarreal centre-back. So he's winning his 9th cap for his country this evening. Llorente only his 6th cap, and Laporte is his 2nd cap. So in terms of international experience, that is a fairly callow Spanish backline. Coming forward with Pedri, slightly overrun it. Ekdal takes it off him, gets the ball back from his midfield partner, and then Pedri has a little nibble, comes in from behind, knocks him to the floor, and Sweden have a free kick.
I think Pedri's got the quickest regain out of possession in Barcelona. I'm sure I read that yesterday, where, you know, he's great in possession, but he's got that stat that he wins it the quickest and the most back from that Barcelona side. And, you know, in the way that now Spain are moving forward with Luis Enrique, high pressing, winning it back, pretty much the old Barcelona way when he was there, you can see maybe why he's in this side.
Spain 0, Sweden 0. Karen Carney with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. You can also listen to us live on the BBC Sounds app. That's where you find your podcast as well, the Daily Euros, that Peter Crouch Euros pod, which is a sort of alternative take on everything that's going on this summer. Rodri under pressure, slices the clearance out of play, and the Swedish coach Janne Andersson comes out and applauds the press from his team as they just try and find a bit of a footing in this game.
That was the first time I think Sweden have gone, actually, we're going to have a nibble, we're going to go and press with a group of players, and Rodri just shanked it off the pitch. And I think that they can afford to do that a little bit more at times, because having so much pressure, now they look like they've got the old long throw.
Yeah. Victor Lindelof, the heavily heavily tattooed arms, is leaning against the electronic advertising hoardings, holds his left arm in the air. He's just about level with the Spanish penalty area. 4 or 5 paces, slings it into the box, headed away by Rodri, and Forsberg tries a volley with the ball dropping over his shoulder, and he smashes it miles over the crossbar, behind onto the running track. And that will be a Spanish goal kick, and we keep getting a look, couple of replays of the Dani Olmo header, which he guides towards the bottom corner. It's not right in the corner, which just gives Robin Olsen the chance to get there and make the save.
Yeah, I just think that he was put off from Morata, and he has the connection, but not a clear connection with his head. And you're right, that gives Olsen the opportunity because it's not in the corner, but massive chance for Spain.
Nice little chip pass from Morata, finds Rodri to his left. Rodri wide to Dani Olmo. Olmo runs at the Swedish defence. Jordi Alba gives him a shout. Sweden look for the offside, looking for the 1-2 now. Koke onto it, drives it, slices it across the face of goal. Olsen was concerned for a second there because Koke popped up through a sort of crowd of yellow shirts, unleashed the shot, and with the outside of his right boot, he's just whipped it across the face of goal and behind for a Swedish goal kick.
Well, look, Spain were threatening down the left-hand side, trying to give it back, but just didn't clear their lines. Sweden, and they're given an opportunity there, and trying to see who didn't clear their lines quick enough. But look, it falls to Koke, and he just tries to take the shot, but he uses the outside of his foot, and it curls away from the goal as putting his foot through it. But in that situation, you can't be too precious, Sweden. You just got to get it away, get it out of the danger area, and not be too precise.
Midway through the first half, Spain 0, Sweden 0. Alexander Isak with a very rare touch of the ball, heads it forward, has to chase his own flick on. Laporte under a little bit of pressure inside his own penalty area. Moves the ball on. Marcus Llorente with space to run into, crosses the halfway line. Sweden continue to back off, so Llorente takes the invitation. Loose from Ferran Torres, gives the ball away. What can Sweden do with it now they've got it? Marcus Berg, surrounded by 3 red shirts, loses it immediately. It's
the press, the counter-press. As soon as Spain lose it, they want to win it as quick as possible, and you can just see the Swedish players going, oh, please give us a rest. You know, we're getting in shape, we eventually do win it back, but they just swarm you, Spain, and they just don't give you a second chance. And again, Sweden then just give it away, and it's just tiring. As a player, I've been there. It's the worst feeling in the world, Ali.
Koke wide to Ferran Torres. Llorente's given the ball away, so again Sweden have a chance to build and get the red shirts swarming around. The Swedish players on the ball. Morata doing well for his team, takes it off Ekdal. Ekdal has to foul him midway inside his own half. And it's oppressive, isn't it? It's just on top of you immediately. Yeah,
all the time. And Ekdal, he just tried to go back, and straight away Morata was on him. They just press and press, and they're just so aggressive, and you just don't get a second chance at all.
Torres outside of his right foot, releases Llorente down by the byline. Here's the cutback looking for Torres. Olsen, that's Christopher Olsen, slides in with his left foot, knocks it behind for a corner. He's taken a whack on the head as well, so we might just have a stoppage in play while he is seen to. Sweden are under pressure, hanging on a little. One great chance for Spain in the first half so far, if you have just tuned in. Dani Olmo's downward header saved by Robin Olsen. And by the way, if you are watching the game on television, there is the possibility to listen to us as well. I know we've made our listeners aware of that, but if you go to the iPlayer, watch it in HD, you can actually sync the 5 Live commentary with the pictures, if that is the way that you want to do it. So Spain 0, Sweden 0. 25 minutes played, short corner taken by Pedri to Koke. Cross in with his right foot, an away swinger. Headed away to the edge of the box. Christopher Olsen nods it down. Seb Larsson, I barely mentioned his name in the first half. Plays it back into midfield. 2 Spanish players are there. Dani Olmo with the right-footed cross. He's looking for Torres. Couldn't find him. Sweden bringing it away with Lustig. Goes down rather easily under the challenge from Alvaro Morata. Sweden will be grateful for the break. They get themselves a free kick.
Smart. You know, you're right, yes, he has gone down a little bit too easy in that situation, but again, manage the game, get your rest in. I'm not even sure it was a foul, to be honest, but when you have not, I'm telling you, when you're that player and you haven't had a lot of the ball and you're tired, those little fouls give you that rest, get the team back in on shape, really matter.
Right, stats coming up. 234 passes completed by Spain, 31 by Sweden. 25 minutes gone, but Sweden have faced Spain recently. They knew what was coming. I think they'll be relatively happy with this at the moment. The two of them were in the same qualifying group for this tournament. Spain came out on top. They won 3-1 in the game in Madrid. It was a 1-1 draw in Stockholm, and actually Spain needed a late equaliser in that game. Too much on it, which means that Pau Torres has to hurtle across to his left to keep the ball in play. Unai Simon, Spain's goalkeeper, all in black, just popped into vision for a second there, getting a rare touch of the ball as it was played back to him by Torres. Laporte now in possession for Spain, just inside his own half, playing it across to his fellow centre-back Torres. Short little pass to Pedri. Pedri just trying to draw players in, trying to suck Spain forward, so Spain can try to suck Sweden forward, I beg your pardon, so that Spain can try and take advantage of that. Llorente moves infield, can't find Pedri with the pass. Christopher Olsen looks to release Marcus Berg, off target with his pass, and Spain have it again with Jordi Alba on the left. Hands it over to Dani Olmo. Olmo has two Swedish defenders in front of him. And you can actually see, I just had a little look at Seb Larsson there, sort of sighing deeply, just chasing.
It's demoralising when you don't have the ball. You're a footballer, you want the ball, you're not a runner. So, but just looking at the pressing stats here of Spain, it's really, really high pressing. You know, all but two of their outfield players, who are Laporte and Pau Torres, the two centre-backs, have been in the opposition half. So it's literally, they're all going forward, exactly what we said. It's a 2-4-4, and you can see why it is difficult for Sweden to get out.
Luis Enrique, the Spanish manager, Cesc Fabregas, was telling us just how ruthless he is in charge of this team, is watching the game in isolation at the moment, in his technical area, but he's put the old drinks box out there and he's sitting on that in his white shirt and his dark green cargo trousers. Ball into Koke, first time effort, bounced up on him and he's lofted it over the crossbar. It was Dani Olmo's cross. Koke made the run, just couldn't keep the finish down. More danger from Spain again. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Again,
really good run from Koke. It was played down to the left-hand side initially from him. The ball comes in and he made that run into the 18-yard box. He ghosted in past the penalty box. No one picked him up. It bounced up on him on the half volley and he's just got to cushion it, but I think he just puts too much on it when the pace was already on the cross. He just needs to cushion it in, and I don't think the keeper would have saved it, but went well over the bar, and it's big opportunity again missed from Spain.
Remind you again, 6:06 after Spain-Sweden tonight, from 10 through until midnight. Chris Sutton will be here taking your calls. The number to dial is 08085 909 693. Obviously, we'll be looking back at the England-Croatia game yesterday. Karen was there, pitch side, watching it all happen. We'll be throwing it forward. You know, what should Gareth Southgate, if you're an England fan, what do you think he should do in terms of team selection for the Scotland game on Friday? How does that set up Scotland fans for you? We were listening to Pat Nevin before this game about David Marshall's positioning for that incredible second goal from Patrick Schick. What did you make of that today? And general tournament thoughts as well so far. Who's impressed you? Who's caught the eye? What have you enjoyed so far in Euro 2020? Discussing it all tonight on 6:06. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Llorente just inside the Swedish half, no pressure on him. Pass forward to Ferran Torres, back to Llorente, back into their own half. Just the two centre-backs again are there. Laporte across to Pau Torres. This time the press is from Christopher Olsen. Got the challenge in on Pedri. The ball runs back to Pau Torres, and it's with Unai Simon, who plays it to Laporte. Koke comes short for it. Nicely worked out by Spain. Just feel that they're wearing Sweden down here slowly, bit by bit. Ferran Torres starts to make a run for Llorente, then stops, gets the ball from him, running at this Swedish defence, tricks his way inside. He's going to run to Rodri. Rodri sees Jordi Alba in space on the left. Low cross comes in, it hits Olmo. Olmo was trying to jump over it and possibly leave it for Morata or Torres coming in at the far post, hits him and goes behind for the goal kick.
Again, Jordi Alba, who's really causing problems just because he's getting so high on that left-hand side. crosses keep coming in. But you know what? You have to give credit to Sweden. They're staying strong, they're staying together, you know, protecting the goalkeeper Olsen as much as they can, you know, and he's had one save to make, even though they've had so little possession, Sweden. You know, they're just stay in the game, stay concentrated. And you're right, it's just a case of, will Spain wear them down, and will it be a moment of concentration when they're so tired and when they switch off potentially that might cost them.
Morata's yet to get that chance for Spain, chosen as the striker through the middle. This evening, here they come again in these dark red shirts. Luis Enrique on his feet, looking a little impatient with his hands behind his back as Laporte caresses a ball across to Pau Torres. Torres to Jordi Alba, down that left-hand touchline to Dani Olmo. Olmo playing it back to Alba and again to Pau Torres. So Spain working the ball from left to right at the moment. Spain 0, Sweden 0. 13 minutes to half-time here. Scotland 0, Czech Republic 2. Poland 1, Slovakia 2. If you haven't heard the scores from the other matches in Euro 2020 played so far today. Koke on the right, prompting the run of Llorente. Clever little trick from him. Just knocked it past Danielsson, but Robin Olsen quickly off his line, slides out and collects it for Sweden.
Again, it's Koke. He comes into this right-back position, picks the ball up and plays a really nice threaded ball through to Llorente, who's now playing as a right winger. Coming in, he just takes a touch past the defenders, but credit to the Swedish goalkeeper. Olsen comes out and claims it. It's comfortable in the end, but Koke is really causing problems, the positions that he's going into, because Sweden can't get anywhere near him.
Well, he's one, Koke, who was recalled by Luis Enrique back in November, so he'd had 2 years out of the Spanish squad, and he's back in and he's making a difference this evening. It's so interesting to watch them as well at this tournament when you think of that World Cup squad 2018 and some of the regulars that we're so used to watching for Spain, Piqué and Ramos and Iniesta and Saúl and David Silva and Diego Costa, and the list goes on and on, who are not here.
Well, is there no Real Madrid player in as well for the first time in
ever in a major tournament?
You know,
yep.
So he does not care, Luis Enrique. He wants to win at all costs, and I think, as Cesc Fabregas said earlier, you know, names don't matter, and he's got to do his job, and he is absolute savage and ruthless in the process of trying to win it.
Llorente for Spain comes all the way back to Laporte. Karen Carney, former England international, watching this with us this evening. Action taking place in Seville. Pau Torres wide to Jordi Alba, forward to Dani Olmo. Pedri, nice skills, two defenders around him. Little drag back, took it away from Larson, back to Alba. Here's Olmo. Olmo with his right foot just toes that. Back to his captain, Pau Torres. Launches it high and across the field. Ferran Torres has to come skipping back to volley it towards Llorente. And again, they just recycle and go again, and red shirts moving around and just trying to find those little pockets in between the yellow lines. Here's Koke on the right. Down that touchline to Llorente. Little give and go from him. Ferran Torres has lost it. Emil Forsberg with the shoulder-length blonde hair, tied back with the Alice band, plays the ball into midfield. Rare Swedish possession here. Seb Larsson flicks the ball back to Lindelof. Plays it back to his goalkeeper, Olsen, who clears with the right foot. That becomes a 50-50. Lustig heads it forward. Marcus Berg manages to get away from Pau Torres, tries to flick it back infield, and Sweden have won a throw high up on the right-hand side. I think we know what's coming next, Karen.
Yeah, long throw. Who are we going to send up? Lindelof potentially, and throw it in for Berg. But you know what? The reason why they got into this position, because they were braver in possession. They played it into midfield. They didn't play backwards. I think Olsen did a nice little turn, and they were brave and passed forward. They keep passing back and back. Got to play forward at some point. You have to be brave and break some lines, and that's what's got them this long throw now, just higher up the pitch. World Cup
quarter-finalists 2018, Sweden eventually losing that quarter-final 2-0 to England. Cross comes in from Seb Larsson on the turn, and no risk taken by Unai Simon. That was dropping nastily on top of his crossbar, and he's just flicked it over the bar with his right hand. Now, you said earlier in the game, Karen, you don't like to give away corners unnecessarily.
No.
He had to do that, did he, or...?
Yeah, I think, look, in that situation, you know, risk versus reward, just, yeah, get it out for a corner and organise everyone now. But look, Seb Larsson, brilliant with his deliveries. We know that. And again, percentage of possession goes out the window. This is a good delivery.
Yep.
Actually, it's Forsberg on it, sorry.
Yeah, from the left with his right foot. Real pace into the near post. Volleyed effort from the edge of the box from Ekdal. Cleared by Laporte. Pedri, I think, knocked over on the edge of his own penalty area, and that will be a free kick. I watched a bit of Sweden in the warm-ups, Karen, and they are so dangerous against, it was Armenia, Danielsson. As you say, if the delivery's right, they have got the players to score the goals, and that's all they need.
Look, it's in this game, it's probably a massive part of their game plan, where you know you're not going to have much possession. You're going to have to be smart. You've seen with the long throw straight away, anywhere in the attacking third, Lindelof's up there, it's a long throw. Set plays, absolutely, that was drilled in from Forsberg. So tonight it's going to be a key part of their game plan, because they simply haven't had any possession of the ball.
Here's an encouraging thought for you as well. Did the game Netherlands-Ukraine last night, 0-0 at half-time, and then we have 5 goals in the second half. This one's 0-0. We're 9 minutes away from that half-time whistle, and Spain come forward again with Jordi Alba.
What I would say, though, Ali, is that, again, I feel at times Morata is very isolated on his own, because Spain want to have a lot of possession, and even now he's just come into the midfield, and there's no one in that 9. I know Spanish football, they ghost in there late, but actually the midfield, Rodri's not going to do that. Koke sometimes is peeling into right-back positions. There's no one up.
Oh, chance for Morata. It was a mistake at the back there, and he's put it wide. Clear sight of goal. 12 yards out, Robin Olsen to beat, and probably should have buried it, and Sweden get away with one. It's 0-0.
I cannot believe he has not scored that. He should be scoring. It's a massive mistake, and he was in the right place. Even though I was talking, he wasn't. He was exactly where he needed to be. Jordi Alba's played the ball in behind. Massive mistake from Danielsson, who didn't clear it. It went underneath his foot, and then straight away Morata's in there, and he's in on goal. There's no one around him, and he tries to bend it in the corner. Doesn't even hit the target. That should be 1-0. Morata should have scored that.
Isak challenges for a header for Sweden. He's won a ball back here wide on the right. Spain quickly trying to shuffle back into positions. Isak brings that ball infield, just runs into too much traffic. Koke takes it away from him, and Alvaro Morata has missed the best chance of the game.
That was the proper commentator's curse, where I'm saying he's not in the right place.
Oh,
he's coming to, and then it literally just popped up. But I still stand by what I was saying. He's coming too deep, and then there is no number 9, and there's no one around him that he can kind of link up with. But he should have scored that, though, Alan.
Definitely. 7 minutes to half-time. It's kind of Morata, without wishing to be unkind to him. You know, he has had a fantastic career for some great clubs, but here's Ferran Torres with his left foot, bobbling shot, not too much pace on it, straight at Robin Olsen, who collects it gratefully, falls on top of it in the 6-yard box. But the kind of finish that I think Chelsea fans would say, you know, having signed him for 60 million, that they remember. Never quite got it going for Chelsea. He's had a good season in Serie A with Juventus, 20 goals last season.
Yeah, no, he has, and you're right. It's Chelsea fans, you're right, spot on. They'll remember him for that, and I'm like, even if he's not scoring, test the goalkeeper or hit the target as a bare minimum.
Yeah.
At this level, you know, those chances few and far beyond at times, so has to put it away.
Here's Llorente on the right-hand side, run forward from Koke, crosses the halfway line. Llorente keeps running for him, just inside his own half, swings the pass out to the left. Lovely first touch from Jordi Alba, quickly on to Dani Olmo. Olmo is running at Lustig. Seb Larsson is back to double up on him. Olmo has the 2 of them in front of him. Has Morata run offside? Yes, he has. Flag goes up, whistle blows, free kick for Sweden, and it remains Spain 0, Sweden 0. Next up for Spain is Poland in Seville on Saturday. Sweden will play Slovakia in St. Petersburg. Both of their 2 remaining games in this group in St. Petersburg. And a close-up shot of the Luis Enrique reaction to the Morata miss. And to be fair, he didn't go crazy, but you could see the disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, he should have just scored, Ali.
Yeah,
I can't
say
just,
again. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Isak flicked in by Marcus Berg. Chance here on the angle. Laporte tries to stop him. Isak shoots. Laporte makes the block. Second chance. Oh, it's off the post. Blocked on the line by Marcus Llorente. Isak so nearly gives Sweden the lead. Had 2 goes at that. Laporte blocked the first. The second one he thought was in. It's hit Llorente. It's come back off the post into the arms of Unai Simon.
That was unbelievable. Credit to Isak. He had the one chance, didn't fall for him, and he then chopped again, come inside, got past it, took the shot. I think the keeper might have slightly got a touch to it. Then the ricochet, as you said, came back and it's come off the post, and Spain are thinking, wow, we got away with one there, but that's the concentration of the Spanish side.
Spain 0, Sweden 0, livening up. Late stages of the first half. Marcus Berg, nice little flick to Forsberg, chased by about 6 or 7 red shirts here. Forsberg tries to run through the gap. Laporte gets a foot on it, and it's played back to the goalkeeper, Simon, who quickly sweeps it out with his left foot to Llorente, who's made the vital block for Spain. Luis Enrique comes marching forward to the edge of the touchline. Got a high I know that's the fashion, but that, there's quite a lot of ankle exposed there in the Enrique trouser with the white trainer underneath, and you can see the bronze legs, the bottom of them, from the Spanish manager cutting a dash. Here's Rodri in the centre circle, trotting forward. Jordi Alba on the left, up the touchline to Olmo, comes back to Pau Torres again. Just 3 minutes remaining in the first half, and some chances coming late on. Isak's effort deflected onto the post. Alvaro Morata should really have scored for Spain. Ball floated out to Llorente on the right. Slow pass rolled to Ferran Torres. Good run made and turned by Morata. Floated ball to Dani Olmo. Takes a touch. Larson blocks it, gets his body in the way. Spain with half-hearted appeals for handball. Llorente toes a clever pass to his right to find Koke. Closed down by Augustinsson. Now Llorente again to Rodri, just outside the Swedish penalty area. Wide to the right it goes. Koke drills the cross in this time towards the far post. Headed away on that right-hand side by Larson. Alba is there, left-footed ball in, volleyed away this time by Lindelof. Pau Torres has to chase back. He's got Isak right behind him, got to be careful, holding him off. And plays the ball up the left-hand side. Nicely touched into midfield by Alba to Rodri. Rodri continues the Spanish momentum, plays it to Olmo. Olmo into the Swedish penalty area, teasing Lustig. Forsberg is there to clear the cross with his left foot, doesn't go out of play. Jordi Alba's onto it, rolls it to Rodri, 25 yards out, low shot, takes a wicked deflection and goes behind for a Spanish corner.
It's end-to-end stuff. I thought Sweden had grown in confidence with their chance, but then Spain have upped the ante as well, now going the other end. This potentially wasn't a handball. This almost flicked it on to Seb Larsson, but it wasn't his arm, and the referee was in a good position, and they straight away waved it away.
What is that noise inside the stadium? It sounds like loads of people sort of drumming seats or drumming their feet on the floor. It's a good build-up to the corner. Spain 0, Sweden 0, and it comes. Olsen punches at his near post. Drumming stops, and Pedri very casually runs back and plays the ball back into that Spanish midfield. Dani Olmo with a right-footed drive. Olsen saves. Rebound might fall to Laporte, who'll chase it. And it's cleared by Danielson. May well have gone behind for the corner. No, he didn't. Danielson got there in time. Clears with his right foot, and it's gone out for a throw. Spanish fans are drumming again. Koke on the left this time to Ferran Torres, also wide on the left-hand side. Laporte has waited in the middle. Cross comes in, headed away from him. Llorente controls it with his right foot, takes a touch, tries to stab it back here to Pedri. What a lovely dummy from Ekdal through Pedri there, and clears the ball towards Isak, who has clipped the legs of Rodri in midfield. And that will be a free kick for Spain. We're almost at half-time. It's 0-0, but it's been a good watch.
Oh, it has. It's been really entertaining, even for a 0-0. Just looking at the Olmo shot there, it was difficult for the goalkeeper Olsen because it swerved. It really did. It dipped, it swerved. There was bodies in front of him, and he got down low. And he actually, I don't think he meant to push it in the way that he did, but it went in his favour because I think Llorente was in there for a tap-in.
Yeah. It's come off his palm and gone backwards, but luckily for him not gone back into his own net. But you're right, had it gone straight forwards, could have been 1-0. Right, added time, end of the first half. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Free kick for Spain. Koke wipes the sweat from his brow. Number 8 for Spain with his right foot, curling ball into the penalty area. Danielson, who's done a lot of good defensive work for Sweden in the first half, plays his club football in China. For Dalian, went over there in February 2020 when Rafa Benitez was still in charge, and actually made his international debut quite late in his career as a 30-year-old, but there he is in the heart of the Swedish defence, and he's holding Spain at bay this evening. Not seen on our screen actually how much added time we've got at the end of the first half, so I think the golden rule there is keep talking, wait for the whistle, and we'll hand it back to Steve Crossman in just a second. Alba down the left-hand side to Olmo. 1 minute of added time it was. Half-time whistle blows, and it's goalless in Seville. Karen Carney.
I mean, it's been a really, really good game. Total possession, domination from Spain, and they had a really, really good chance. Morata should have scored. However, there was one golden chance for Sweden in Isak, and it just came to him. Initially it was blocked from Laporte. It came out to him. He sold him a dummy, had the second chance, had the shot, and then it was just deflected in off Llorente onto his own post and then into the arms of the goalkeeper. But both two good chances, and so I can't believe it's still 0-0.
Yeah, here's your passing stat at half-time, by the way, Steve. Spain 448, Sweden 90, but more crucially, Spain 0, Sweden 0.
I was just going to give that stat as well, Ali.
Steve.
I'll do passes completed, shall I?
Go on then.
Spain 409, Sweden 61. But Karen, 0-0, and actually Sweden have come closest.
And that, you know what, that 0-0 is the most important stat, and a lot of people go on about stats, and it is a vital part of the game, but the scoreline is the only stat that really counts, and in tournament football, and we saw that with Portugal, who won it, you know, a few years in 2016, how they got through and how they won it. So Sweden have done really well. Spain, as you said, dominated, should have scored. Morata's chance, he has to be scoring that. I'm sorry, he has to be scoring it, but credit to Sweden, organised, and they've stayed in the game.
He does have to score that, but I suppose that's something we know about this Spain side, is with no disrespect meant to Alvaro Morata, it's not a massive surprise that he didn't take that chance.
No, and Ali said that as well. The Chelsea fans would have expected that as well. They're not surprised that he didn't hit the target, not surprised that he didn't score, but I think that is a difference, and I did mention it before, that chance. They've had all the possession, they've dominated down the flanks, they've overloaded, but just in that central position, in that number 9, I don't feel like there's a fear factor. I don't feel like Danielson or Lindelof, he's ever really threatened. So I think that could be, you know, Spain's Achilles heel moving forward, just that number 9 position, the confidence there.
Karen, Ali, thank you very much for the time being. We'll be back with the guys for second half commentary from Seville. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Let's bring Guillaume Balaguer and Jonas Olsson back in. Jonas, so far so good.
Yeah,
in a way,
result-wise at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sweden, you know, they're sitting deep, saying like they are organised, but I think at certain areas of the pitch they need to be more aggressive. It's fine sitting deep, but when Spain comes close to the box, you need to show a little bit more aggressiveness. I think for Spain they need to up the tempo a little bit. I mean, Sweden, they have, you know, the odd 2 or 3 chances, but with that amount of possession, they should be able to find more ways through Sweden's defence, I think.
Guillaume?
Well, don't get confused by the score. Sweden don't want to play like this, because if they did, they committing a mistake. I think there were chances by Olmo, by Koke, another one by Koke, that one of Morata after a mistake from the build-up from Sweden. They really don't want to play so deep. But I think we should put in clips for kids in how to build from the back, and we're doing it wonderfully. And how to pressure, just hound them down, don't we? But if you want to look for finishing and the last decision, go and look somewhere else.
Well, Guillaume, this is exactly what struck me right during the first half, is what is the major difference between the Spanish performance we've seen here and the Spain teams that won those 2 Euros and a World Cups? It's a clinical finisher.
Yeah, but don't idolise them, because in the World Cup it was 1-0. It was 1-0 and 1-1. That's what won the World Cup.
But when Torres or Villa got a chance, you thought they were going to score.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's the fear factor that we heard. No doubt about that. We need a lot of chances to actually score. Wait, because Gerard Moreno can come on and he can make the difference. But again, he's another player that maybe he will, maybe he won't. But I compare Spain to a tenor. Lovely tone, lovely timbre, and actually hits normally the notes very beautifully. But when he gets to the high note, they just don't get there. And that's why Sweden is forcing us to play the ball. We don't want to play that way either. And that's why we hound people down to get the ball back and try to use those spaces that gets created when we steal the ball. Because that's our real chance to to win a game, not by passing the ball around, not by reproducing tiki-taka. We don't want to do that.
Speaking of high-pitched noises, Jonas, how did you react when Isak came as close as he did to scoring?
Yeah, that was very, very close. And you can see the quality of Isak when he gets 2-3 times. He makes a good decision, I think, to hold the shot for a while. And that's the thing with this game as well. With Spain, it's almost like they're starting to get a little bit too comfortable on the ball. You could see them losing the ball 2 or 3 times. With great opportunities for Sweden to go on the counter-attack, but I think they defend so much first half. So when they get the ball, they struggle to get people up the pitch and struggle to keep hold of the possession. And I think it's one thing to defend like this for 45 minutes. It's not a thing to do. It's over 90 minutes.
Jonas, Guillem, thank you very much for the time being. Jonas Olsson and Guillem Balaguer, much more from the guys to come. And we've got second half commentary as well around the corner as well. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Coming up shortly, we are going to be inside the Wales camp. And we will be hearing from Ethan Ampadu there. If you've just joined us then, well, we've just seen a very dominant Spain, but they haven't scored yet. It's still goalless at the break. We'll break now for the news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Coronavirus restrictions in England are being extended till the 19th of July to give the NHS more time to vaccinate as many people as possible. Most curbs on social contact will continue, but limits on the number of people at weddings and wakes have been removed. The Prime Minister's described how those additional 4 weeks will be used.
We will aim to have double jabbed around 2/3 of the adult population, and we will bring forward our target to give every adult in this country a first dose by the 19th of July. That is, including young people over the age of 18, so we reduce the risk of transmission among the groups that mix the most.
All of this is happening because of concerns about a rise in cases of the Delta variant, first identified in India. Cases are growing by around 64% a week and are doubling in the worst affected areas. The Chief Medical Officer for England is Professor Chris Whitty.
The link between people getting an infection and being hospitalised has been substantially weakened, but it has not been completely stopped. So although we do not think an immediate overwhelming of the NHS is likely, if this continues on an exponential path, and in particular, if that then accelerated further due to further loosenings, then we would run into trouble in a relatively small number of doubling times.
Extra support's being provided in more areas to try to stop the spread of the virus. Surge testing and vaccination will be introduced in Birmingham, Blackpool, Cheshire East, Cheshire West and Chester, Liverpool City region and Warrington. Nicola Sturgeon is going to announce tomorrow if the latest easing of COVID restrictions in Scotland will go ahead in a fortnight. The move could be delayed because of a rise in cases and hospital admissions there. A woman's died after falling from a cliff on the Dorset coast. Police and paramedics were called at around 3 o'clock this afternoon to Durdle Door near Lulworth. The circumstances are still being investigated. And a BBC inquiry's found no evidence that Martin Bashir was rehired to cover up the circumstances around his interview with Princess Diana. It was commissioned after a report found the journalist acted deceitfully to get that interview.
5 Live Breakfast.
5 Live, this is the place to be. What a first weekend, Euro 2020. Some real highs, some terrible lows, but some exciting, compelling, irresistible football. Your boys got off to a hell of a start, Rachel. They were impressive.
My boys. Well, yeah, at the end of today, we'll have a really good idea of where all the home nations are at the moment. Let's hear from a couple of Wales fans, shall we? How are you both feeling after the weekend?
Exhausted. It was exhausting, the whole thing.
Switzerland's a brilliant team.
From a Wales perspective, we didn't have a great performance, so to pull a point back, fantastic. Good start to the tournament, I'd say.
They've got to go into Wednesday and pull out a good result.
5 Live Breakfast. Back tomorrow from 6.
The wait is over. Euro 2020.
With Steve Crossman on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Just heard Rachel with some Welsh fans there. We're going to hear quite a few more tomorrow morning on breakfast, I would have thought, because Rachel's in Wrexham for the programme from 6 a.m. One of the great things about Wales being at the Euros is just the ability to hear the music of and hear from the musicians with some of the great 90s bands like the Manics and the Phonics, and Gruff Rhys from Super Furry Animals is going to be on the sports table with Ellis James during Ellis and John tomorrow from 1 o'clock. So that'll be really good, because on Wednesday night, of course, Wales face Turkey in their second group game of the tournament. Juliet Farrington's in Baku with the team, and she's been speaking to Ethan Ampadu.
Ethan, do you remember your first Wales senior training camp? Because it was just before 2016, wasn't it? And when everything kicked off.
Yeah, no, definitely something that I'll never forget. You know, great experience, and you know, you could sort of say it's the best experience I've had in terms of it being the first one. If you know what I mean, you can never beat the first one. But I've been fortunate to have many others apart from that. But yeah, something I'll never forget.
You've had quite a few others. So how have they compared over the years?
They all feel the same. You know, it's a great honour every time you called up and you get to come along, and that honour will never sort of lessen, if you know what I mean. The more you do it, it's always the same feeling. It's always amazing pride.
What's the experience been like then with this tournament camp compared to what you experienced just before 2016?
I think it's different because I've been able to come here, if you know what I mean, fortunate enough to get picked to come here. The other one was just, you know, getting the experience of being around the first team before they went. But yeah, I mean, then I was buzzing for the tournament as a fan, but now I'm buzzing for the tournament as a player.
How does that buzzing compare between the two, as a fan and as a player? Is there any difference at all?
No, I don't think so. I think it's the same level. You know, it's the Euros. It's what everyone wants to be a part of.
How would you sum up then the first game in the group so far?
You know, Switzerland are a good team. Everyone knew that going into the game. A lot of people had them as favourites, which we were fine with that. We knew what we could do. Yeah, and they showed their quality at times. I think we showed our quality at times. To go 1-0 down and then come away with a draw, it's a good point, and it's a good start to the tournament.
In a way, was it a bit of a struggle that you weren't expecting at times during the game, because it was a tough game, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a tough game. You know, this is the Euros. There's not going to be one easy game, is it? Everyone's here for a reason. Everyone's here because they have quality. So we understood that it was going to be a tough game, and it was. But we know I think we showed what we can do in that game, as I said. But we also know we can do a bit more as well.
What do you take from that then? As you say, you can do a little bit more, can do better against Turkey, that's big now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's rare that you have a perfect game. So from any game, you can always do better. We know Turkey's going to come out. They're expecting quite a few fans. So that's going to be good, you know, a bit of crowd noise. That'll be interesting, and I'm sure we're looking forward to it.
Hey, but you've got a few fans here as well. We've seen them now dotted around. We saw them at the stadium as well.
Yeah, no, amazing. You know, the Red Bull is so good, and for them to make this travel, it is amazing. You know, it doesn't surprise you because we all know how good they are.
Can you, when you talk about the experience and people talk about being a young team, you must be one of the more experienced players of that young group. Does it feel like that because you've had so many experiences?
I kind of know what you're trying to say, but I don't really feel like one of the experienced players. I know I still got a lot to learn in the game, so for me I don't really feel like one of the more experienced players. But
you've got the caps though to prove it.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I don't necessarily feel it. I do obviously feel like I've been around this sort of team for a while, which I'm fortunate for. But yeah, like I said, we're a young team and we're all excited.
Thank you very much.
Perfect, thank you.
Ethan Ampadu there with Juliet Farrington. Of course, we're bringing you Wales-Turkey live in full on 5 Live. That was on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. One of 3 games that we've got on Wednesday. The other's Finland against Russia at 2 and Switzerland at 8 o'clock against the champions-elect Italy. Chris Sutton is with us in the studio. We've got 6:06 coming up after the game in Seville. Hiya, Chris.
Hello, Steve.
They're going to win it, Italy, aren't they?
No. That's your prediction.
It is, yeah.
You're often wrong. I saw you got excited about Ukraine as well, and they lost.
Yep. No, they did lose 3. How did Turkey get on again?
Turkey have got Wales.
Yeah,
next
true.
up, haven't they? Yeah.
Interesting. Speaking of predictions, Chris.
Yes.
You're the man to come to, aren't you? Because I'm pretty sure you're above Ali Bruce Ball in the predictions league for Euro 2020.
Yes, close.
Hi, Ali.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, that's so awkward. I didn't know you were listening.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Chris, I tell you what.
Yeah, I'm often above you, Bruce.
I know you would have finished that one Morata missed at the end of the first half, wouldn't you? Needed a cool head there.
Ali, why are you being nice to Christopher when he's
No,
not
I'm being
so
ironic.
nice?
Yeah, no,
yeah. There we go. You two
Come
know
on,
it.
Karen, you're better than that.
Yeah. Hello, Christopher.
Hi, Karen.
Right, Chris, tonight, lines open 08085 909 693. Scotland fans first and foremost, they've played today. 2 fantastic finishes from Patrick Schick. How harsh are we on David Marshall positioning for the second goal?
I thought it was a brilliant goal. If you're a Scotland fan,
But he's Harry Kane, he's our number 9, he's our captain. It's one game, first game.
Yeah.
Big moments.
Yeah.
Come on, Harry Kane.
I know you make suggestions like that and you put the tin hat on because people will just be what are you talking about? But anyway, that's what 606 is all about. Second half underway, and if you've got any reaction to this game as well, and let's see what happens in the second half, what you've made of the way Spain are playing, and particularly how they're attacking this tournament, the lineup that Luis Enrique has gone with. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Spain in the dark red shirts, the dark blue shorts, black socks, playing from right to left in the second half. 18-year-old Pedri in the midfield. Nice ball from Jordi Alba to Dani Olmo. Olmo's lost it on the edge of the penalty area. He was trying to find Morata. The pass was intercepted. Lustig was there, and Sweden win themselves a free kick. I don't think there's been any changes at half-time. Certainly not popped up on the screen. Morata coming through the back of Lustig to concede the free kick. So, Unai Simon in goal. Marcos Llorente and Jordi Alba, the full-backs. Aymeric Laporte and Pau Torres, the two centre-backs for Spain. Rodri at the base of midfield. Koke, who's been very influential in the first half, as Spain kept revolving the ball and recycling the possession. And the 18-year-old Pedri alongside him. Ball into the Spanish penalty area. Big shout from Unai Simon. Leave that to me, he says. And the ball comes over the head of Laporte and he catches it on the bounce. Ferran Torres on the right, Dani Olmo on the left, and Alvaro Morata through the middle.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Sweden really. I don't expect too much change from Spain because they played well. It was just a concentration, just being clinical. But I was just trying to see if Sweden had done anything different, because it just, as the game goes on and on and on, I don't think you can cope with that amount of pressure for 90 minutes. So I'm just trying to see if they're doing anything tactic. It doesn't look like it. They're still 4-4-2. They're still allowing the ball into the wide areas and protecting the central areas. So it looks like they're just going to have the same game plan, but they might, and I hope they're a little bit more braver in possession.
Spain 0, Sweden 0. Here's a chance for them. Isak holds on to the ball. Nice little turn from him. On the spin, he's caught by Morata. Free kick for Sweden. That's the kind of thing you're talking about, I guess.
That's it, yeah. You know, hold on to the ball. You've got some really talented players. You know, I think Olsen spoke about it earlier. You know, you've got a mixture of a really good squad. Youth, you've got experience, skill, flair, X factor, and I think Isak is the X factor in this game tonight. You just saw that there. He's holding on to the ball, goes past 1-2 players. Got to be brave, and I think that'll be the key for Sweden.
May well have been the message at half-time. I'll give you the Sweden lineup again in a second. Seb Larsson captaining the side, his 130th cap this evening for his country. A player we know well from his lengthy stint in the Premier League. Cross in, which very nearly caused Spain problems. Morata is actually back there in the right-back position to block a completely scuffed cross from Lustig, and it's eventually gone behind for a goal kick. Spain defending the free kick with an incredibly high line, and they were wide open. Yeah,
that was a really big chance for Sweden. It was a really good delivery in from Seb Larsson. You're right, the line was really, really high, and it fell to Lustig at the back post, and he just took his eye off it, and the chance then went. But again, with that high line, I really think Sweden can exploit it if they get these free kicks in wide positions again.
Spain coming forward again. Pedri with the dark black hair. Number 26 on his back for Spain. 10 yards inside the Sweden half, spots a gap, goes for it. Forward to Olmo. Olmo's pass runs to Morata, who's dragged another one wide. Not quite in such a good position as the first half, but again a clear sight of goal with his right foot, and he's gone for the near post this time rather than trying to put it to the left of Robin Olsen, and the radar's just not there.
No, that one was a bit of a snapshot. You know, it was a pass through, and it kind of ricocheted off 2 Sweden players and then fell to him. He took it on his instinct, and it on his right foot, and he went with his inside of his foot, and he just off target. Again, it's just same problem. There's just like everything's perfect for Spain, just that number 9 position. I don't have any confidence in that position.
And you were saying at half-time, Karen, we were sort of looking at potential changes and who else they would have possibly to do that role. Gerard Moreno, possibly, it is an option, but Morata is there at the moment and he's chasing Lindelof across the field. Sweden have Robin Olsen in goal, Lustig and Augustinsson as the 2 full-backs, Lindelof and Marcus Danielsson as their 2 centre-backs, Seb Larsson wide right, Emil Forsberg of Leipzig on the left-hand side, Christopher Olsen and Albin Ekdal as the 2 central midfielders, and Marcus Berg, his 87th cap for his country this evening, the 34-year-old, playing alongside the very exciting Alexander Isak.
I just wonder, as you said there, Moreno, Villarreal, you know, he's done well this season. Watched a lot of him in the Europa League. Is he going to come on at some point? You know, 1-2 chances for Morata now. You know, we've spoken about how ruthless Luis Enrique is. Look, you're not going to have any better chances than that. And when there's a striker on the bench that could potentially take them, might see him come on. But maybe I'm being a bit harsh. We spoke about how difficult it's been for Spain. You know, lack of training together as a team. You know, the COVID outbreak, you know, losing Busquets, their most key player.
Llorente on the right for them. High up the field. Morata makes a little run, gets the ball from Koke, back to goal. Whips it out to the left with his left foot. Arrow of a pass, that one onto the chest of Jordi Alba. Cross in. Lindelof is there in the right position for Sweden to head it away. Seb Larsson stretches, swings at it with his right foot, but misses the ball completely. And it is out for a throw-in to Spain in a attacking position on the left-hand side. 5 substitutions available to each team at Euro 2020. They have to be done in 3 separate slots, as Dani Olmo, his cross is deflected into the Swedish penalty area. The ball is cleared, but only as far as Morata, wide on the left. Jordi Alba back to Pedri, who's looked incredibly composed tonight in his first major tournament appearance. That was a clever little flick.
His feet are so good.
To fight Morata. Morata lays it back to Rodri. Rodri's closed down. Had to get that away quickly to Pau Torres. Back to Rodri, and Rodri opens it up for Spain. Playing across the bare patches on this pitch. Those slightly drier brown patches across the Swedish half as the ball is blocked from Llorente's pass. Laporte gives it straight back to Llorente. Wide on the right-hand side. Spain 0, Sweden 0. And Rodri with his left foot stabs a little ball across to Laporte. Laporte keeps it moving down the right. Koke swings the cross in. Olmo chases it, bounces beyond him. Robin Olsen off his line. Made a good save from a Dani Olmo header in the first half. And he grabs that one for Sweden. Spain 0, Sweden 0.
Yeah, I was just saying about the training situation for Spain and the preparation, you know, really disjointed. You know, having to individually train, couldn't go anywhere near each other. You know, we've spoken about the back line of Spain. You know, it's new. You know, how many of them are consistent in a back line position and not being able to train? That's the worst preparation Luis Enrique would have wanted.
Yeah. Throwing for Sweden wide on the right. I know you don't want to give it the big name drop there, but you actually know that from a personal conversation with someone inside the Spanish camp, how difficult it's been, don't you? Mr. Azpilicueta.
Yeah, we're on the same course. We're doing an MBA, and we logged on for a lesson the other day, and he was in camp, and I was asking him, what's it like training on your own? And I think he thought I was giving him an interview, but I was just generally like buzzing. I was like, well done, I'm winning the Champions League. And
yeah. Cross in for Sweden, Christopher Olsen. Isak, the ball comes off his shins. Koke jumps in to half clear it for Spain. Emil Forsberg, who with that hairstyle, he's got a little bit of the Robbie Savage about him. When I was looking at
don't. Come on, Ali.
He does. Robbie's over in Baku at the moment for the Wales coverage on BBC television. They, of course, are back in action on Wednesday. It'll be a 5 Live commentary again. 5 o'clock kickoff. Big game for them, having drawn the first against Switzerland. They're up against Turkey. Tomorrow, Hungary, Portugal in full at 5 o'clock on 5 Live. France, Germany. Stellar opening group game in Group F at 8 o'clock with John Murray and Dion Dublin. Lustig has won a throw for Sweden. They have had a bit more of the ball. They've been a bit higher up the pitch in the second half.
They've been aggressive, a little bit more aggressive. I think maybe they gave Spain too much time.
Lustig is getting booked for time wasting. So Sweden have won a throw. Lustig has just walked away from the ball, left it for a teammate who's in no rush to get there, and our referee has decided he's not having any of that, Slavko Vincic. It's one of those things as well, I think, with the crowd inside the stadium when they're getting on the referee's back, they notice it. The Spanish players will have been saying something. I wonder whether that decision would have been made in an empty stadium. Danielson with a flick on from the long throw, but he's committed a foul. He's pushed Jordi Alba over inside the penalty area, so concedes the free kick. Spain 0, Sweden 0.
Yeah, just watching that back, he's pushing Jordi Alba there. Danielson again, long throw from Lindelof, straight away, clear tactic. Set pieces are a leveller when you are in the situation that you are in and you don't have a lot of ball possession.
Should say as well, the runner-up in this group will play the runner-up in England and Scotland's group. So I think England and Scotland will watch on with interest. This group is Spain, Sweden, Poland and Slovakia. Slovakia beating Poland earlier on today by 2-1. Jordi Alba, cross-blocked, close range by Mikael Lustig, former Celtic man. Celtic who played in this stadium. In fact, Chris Sutton was there, of course, 2003 UEFA Cup final, which they eventually lost 3-2 to Jose Mourinho's Porto. That was here in Seville. Pau Torres with his left foot across to Aymeric Laporte. 10 minutes gone already in the second half. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Opening group game for these two in Group E. And Spain starting to rack up the passes again in the second half. It's Laporte on the ball with that trusty left boot. Plays it quickly to the right-hand side. Ferran Torres trying to run past Forsberg. Forsberg sticks with it. Koke to Llorente, to Torres, to Morata, looking for the run of Koke. He was on his heels, not going to get there. And it comes through to Robin Olsen. More stat-based fun for you here, Karen. First half passes completed. Aymeric Laporte 62, Pau Torres 61, Jordi Alba 60. The entire Swedish team 59.
Wow.
Yeah. Although a lot of those passes, Laporte, Torres and, well, not Alba so much, but the two centre-backs are going across, aren't they? Not doing too much damage.
You're spot on, but I do actually think I'm sensing frustration now coming into the Spanish side. You know, I wonder in their mind, are they fearing what happened in 2018 where you dominate and
can't finish?
Yeah, it doesn't happen. And I wonder, is that starting to go through their mindset a little bit? Because I'm starting to see frustration set in, and the Swedish side are growing in confidence, because as long as it goes on, they're thinking one chance, similar to Isak in the first half, we could nick something here.
Marcus Berg chases the ball down the right, knocks it into the legs of Rodri, wins the throw-in for Sweden. They'll take their time over the restart. One of the Spanish players actually goes across to get the ball for them. Just looking a little closer at this Spanish shirt for the Euros. We're getting some close-ups on it in the second half. It's a sort of slightly patchwork quilt affair. There's a couple of lines, one down it, one across it, and they're slightly different shades of red. I'm paying quite a lot of attention to the clothes and fashion this evening, as you can tell.
You just got attention to detail, Ali, and everything. Right. That's why you're the best.
Throw in for Spain inside their own half, wide on the left, being frustrated by Sweden. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds daily Euros podcast will be there for you tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. If you've missed anything today, all the interviews, the reaction, the analysis, looking ahead to the action tomorrow. Our commentaries: Hungary, Portugal at 5, France, Germany at 8 as Group F gets underway. Here's Pau Torres, low pass with his left foot, wide to Alba. Luis Enrique is walking with the Spanish midfield as they bring the ball forward. Giant technical area. He's got a long expanse to walk in there. Here's Pedri, short ball with his right foot. Rodri turns it back to Pau Torres. Rodri, of course, who didn't play in the Champions League final, left out by Pep Guardiola after playing in pretty much most of Manchester City's season, but doing the holding role for his country tonight. Pedri flicks one with his right foot out to the left. Here's Alba. He's going to try and go on the outside, and then the ball comes off his right boot. He's lining up a left-footed cross. Larson has it covered. Morata tries to win a tackle. He does so, and the throw-in goes to
Sweden, I think.
Sweden, we think.
I've just seen how deep Sweden are. Every single player is probably 40 yards in there from the goal line. That's how deep they are and how aggressive Spain are in pushing forward. And I just think, how long can they sustain this, Sweden? You know, they're being pegged back and back and back.
Can't be masses of fun either, as you were saying in the first half, Karen. You know, particularly if you're a creative player, you know what the plan is, you know what they're trying to do. But
sometimes the managers don't pick creative players when they know this is going to be the case. They might go, actually, we need, you know, creative players sometimes are the mavericks, and they don't do this type of work. So you have to take one for the team, you have to be disciplined, and if you don't, sometimes managers don't pick you.
15 minutes gone, second half. Spain 0, Sweden 0. All being played inside Sweden's half at the moment. Nice little ball from Pedri. Rodri on the move forward. cutting through the inside left channel, wide to Jordi Alba, cross blocked, high up in the air it goes. Lovely control from Alba just inside the penalty area. He's overrun it and lost it. Ekdal challenged by Morata. Morata caught on the ankle. Play continues. Lovely ball from Isak if Marcus Berg is onside. Flag stays down. Here's Forsberg. Forsberg might find Isak. Edge of the Spanish penalty area. Working it onto the right foot. Cuts back onto the left. Little drag back still with 3 defenders around him. Gets the cross in and Berg can't finish it off at the far post. He was challenged by Aymeric Laporte and I don't know how much the challenge put him off. But that was brilliant build-up play from Sweden and very nearly got the goal.
Wow, what feet from Isak. He's unbelievable. I thought the chance had gone because he turned back and there's 3 Spanish players around him. He does a little chop, roll back, and then he cuts it across. And I just don't think that Berg was waiting for it. And that should be 1-0 to Sweden.
Just wondering whether Berg might have been offside had that ended up in the back of the net. A little look along the line from the video assistant referee, but you're right, the skill from Isak under pressure there was fabulous, the close control.
His feet, you know, it's not been one occasion, it was the chance in the first half as well. It's just, again, having that confidence, you know, to create the chance and then just having the confidence just to bury it. And I think he could have took the shot himself, but he was selfless and crossed it in. But I think you are right, I think Berg might have been offside.
Possibly, yeah. 21 years old, Isak, young player of the season in La Liga after 17 goals for Real Sociedad. Watch out for him in the rest of this tournament. Dani Olmo with a flick, volleyed away by Danielson with his left foot into the last half hour of the game. Spain 0, Sweden 0. 6:06 on the way. Lines are open. 08085 909 693 to have your say on the Euro so far. England fans, Scotland fans, Wales fans. Chris Sutton and I would love to hear from you this evening. There will, of course, be another 6:06 on Friday night after the England-Scotland game at Wembley, and plenty more 6:06s throughout the tournament. 8 o'clock Friday night. Appointment listening on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. England, Scotland in Group D. Pedri into the feet of Dani Olmo in a central position. His pass is behind Ferran Torres, who's not really featured in the second half for Spain, and Robin Olsen is able to get it. I think Luis Enrique is giving the nod to some changes here,
I was
Karen.
just about to say, Moreno, even Thiago, just bring him on, because you've got to open this Swedish side up, and he's the type of player that, you know, he's going to have a lot of possession, and he's the one that's got that sat-nav, that radar. He can pick a pass out and see things that nobody else can see or do. So get him on the pitch. I think bring Moreno on. It hasn't been working. I'd even flip the wingers, because they're both, you know, Torres is playing on the right-hand side. He's left-footed, and Olmo's right-footed playing on the left. Put them on their natural sides and try and mix it up a little bit. Give the fullbacks a bit of a problem.
Morata with his back to goal plays it to Llorente of Atletico Madrid, who Liverpool fans won't remember too fondly. His 2 goals at Anfield, knocking them out in the Champions League a couple of seasons ago before we went into lockdown shortly after that. Now Pedri, pass to his left to Jordi Alba, gives it straight back to the 18-year-old. Got Christopher Olsen right behind him, has a little hack at him, caught the back of Pedri's leg there. He's just rubbing the back of his knee, but Spain continue to build down the right. Cross drilled in from Torres, hits Morata's head, goes straight up in the air. Nothing Spain can do with that. Isak is on the ball again for Sweden, running away from Rodri, running at Marcus Llorente, knocking it past him. Spain struggling to deal with him. Laporte battling hard, and Isak can't win that battle. Laporte was stronger and takes the ball away for Spain.
I thought Isak was unlucky there, but where that attack from Isak came from was that the ball was played into Morata and he just didn't make it stick. And I think those 2 chances that they've missed, I feel like the confidence has just been zapped out of him. Like, he doesn't, I don't know, I just would swap him if I was Luis Enrique.
Let's see what he does. Of course, the last time we were
probably
talking
score
about,
now.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that, Karen. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Former England international Karen Carney watching the game here in Seville. Headed away by Augustinsson at left back for Sweden. Koke volleys it back into the penalty area. Morata chases hard to keep the ball in, down by the byline on the right, can't control it, and it's behind for a goal kick. Just looking at a stat here on the official app of Euro 2020, the last time Spain failed to score in consecutive Euros games was the last game of Euro 96. England fans will remember that, 0-0, they lost on penalty, Spain. And the first game of Euro 2000, when they lost 1-0 to Norway. Their last 3 major tournament appearances have not been all that impressive. World Cup 2014, didn't get out of the group, of course. Spain beaten 5-1 by the Netherlands, also lost to Chile in the group. Euro 2016, they did make it to the last 16 before being knocked out by Italy, and as Karen's been mentioning this evening, got out of the group in the World Cup 3 years ago, as Morata is coming off to be replaced by Pablo Sarabia, who was a slightly surprise inclusion in the Spanish squad. Sarabia is on for Alvaro Morata. Spain out in the last 16 at that World Cup, losing to Russia on penalties after a game a little bit like this one. Spain just couldn't, for all their possession, make the breakthrough, find the goals. Thiago Alcantara has come on for Rodri in midfield.
Well, I think he's brought Rodri off because Rodri's a defensive midfielder, and really, do they need him in that position to screen in front of the two centre-backs? He's thinking, no, we know how aggressive and front-footed he is, Luis Enrique. Get Thiago on, he can sit in that position, but he's going to start dictating the play again and give them a little bit more rhythm. But I'm just interested to see where Sarabia has gone.
Larson flicks the ball infield. Forsberg can't get there. Llorente just in time for Spain. Takes it on the edge of the box, playing up through the middle of the pitch at pace. Sarabia.
Yeah, he's gone up top, hasn't he, Ali? Which I've seen him play on the flank. I think it was against...
Or is he right and Torres up top?
No, you're right, Torres. Yeah,
Torres up top. Yeah, Ferran Torres through the middle. Dani Olmo on the left. And Pablo Sarabia, Paris Saint-Germain, on the right in the three-pronged attack. Jordi Alba's mistimed his jump. Assistant referees put the flag up for an offside.
Well, we do know that Manchester City do see Torres as a future number 9. They think very highly of him. Sweden making 2 changes as well now, which probably needs to be done. But, you know, Torres up there, he's a threat. Manchester City scored some key goals. He's very clinical, perhaps exactly what Spain need.
Spain 0, Sweden 0, approaching the midway point of the second half in Seville. Double change coming for Sweden. Spain have made their changes. Pau Torres, centre-back on the ball, high up the field for Spain. Wide to Jordi Alba, on to Dani Olmo, wide on the left-hand side. Pedri's made a run outside him, but he plays it back infield. Just trying to work the passes and find the space. Thiago chips one with his right foot. Llorente has plenty of time to cushion it, control it, get a cross in. Not the best from him. Volleyed away, headed back into that Swedish penalty area, nodded down. Alba can't quite bring it down. Dani Olmo's going to hit the right-footed volley. Difficult skill to execute, slices it badly, and it's away and behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, it came down to him, and he had a lot of time to keep his eye on it, and I think he just at the last minute took his eye off and hit it on the volley with the outside of his foot and went off for a goal kick. But here's the 2 subs for Sweden.
Victor Claesson, who plays his club football for Krasnodar, who is a winger, attacking midfielder. Marcus Berg is coming off, and he'll be replaced by Robin Quaison of Mainz, who Jonas Olsson, former Swedish international, was telling us all about ahead of this game this evening. Still Spain 0, Sweden 0. Quaison, 5 goals in the qualifiers, as I say, plays for Mainz, born in Stockholm to a Ghanaian father and Swedish mother. And Isak is coming off, so the 2 strikers coming off, and Claesson, who is an attacking player, is coming on with Quaison. So let's see how Sweden organise that. Luis Enrique, hands in pockets, staring intently across the field as the ball is launched long past Dani Olmo. Danielson is underneath the Spanish clearance. High in the air it goes off his right boot. Ekdal can't control it. Danielson with a half volley ball forward, nearly turned into a pass for the chasing Quaison, but couldn't get there.
I think it's literally just some fresh legs. I think like for like. No, Isak has been brilliant, but probably ran out of steam, and Quaison's come on, and he does give that threat in behind, quick, pacey, got skill as well. And I think Leeson's just come into that number 10 pocket. He'll screen and then try and support Quaison as much as he can. But this is now about, again, 4-4-2. The formation hasn't changed, it's just personnel, and do exactly the same job and keep doing what they were doing throughout the first half, and especially now in the second half.
Llorente to Thiago, one of those players who plays with the socks rolled down, blue boots on, knocks the ball past Quaison, shoves him to the floor. Thiago wins the free kick for Spain. Just over 20 minutes to play. 6:06 on the way on 5 Live this evening. Lines are open, 08085 909 693 to get your calls in tonight. Pau Torres with his left foot plays a ball out to the right. Looking for Ferran Torres, now in the central striking position, lines up a left-footed shot, blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Lindelof. Quaison is there, hooks it away with his right foot, chased upfield by Victor Claesson, the other substitute. Spain have it back, wide on the left, Jordi Alba. Dani Olmo moves in field, runs away from Lindelof, closed down in midfield by Ekdal. Ekdal is caught by Dani Olmo. That'll be a free kick to Sweden. Sweden continue to keep Spain at bay.
Yeah, look, and they're just going to take their time. You know, Ekdal's going to stay down, get some rest for his team. But I was just looking at Ferran Torres in that 9 position. He's actually staying a lot more central. You know, he's making the dart runs, but I think Morata was sometimes going too wide, and he wasn't in the areas that he was meant to be in. And again, Torres, he's not afraid to take the long-range shot. And I think sometimes when you're playing against such a defensively organised side, these long-range shots sometimes are the only way to break them down.
Pablo Sarabia comes streaking forward for Spain. Pass intercepted. Comes off the right boot of Ekdal. Goes all the way through to Spain's goalkeeper, Unai Simon. Thiago on the halfway line for Spain. Across to Pedri. Pedri running forward. Trying to draw in Swedish defenders. Low ball to his left finds Olmo, yet to have a goalless draw in the competition so far. Don't want that to be on our watch, Karen. 20 minutes to try and find a goal, one of these two teams. Quaison holds on to it for Sweden. Spain are looking to win that back. It's cleared back into their half, and Pau Torres has to turn on his heel and stride back to collect possession for Spain again. Very calmly knocks it back into the penalty area of Unai Simon, and he plays it to Laporte, and Laporte out to the right here to Koke. Koke's got Llorente on that right-hand touchline. Spain have just slowed it down for a second or two. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Into the last 20 minutes. Pedri to his left. Jordi Alba infield to Thiago. Quick first touch and then ball fired out to the right. Llorente, good little pass to Sarabia, tries to get the cut back into the box. Dani Olmo couldn't get there, intercepted again. Here's Llorente, has won the ball back for Spain, corner of that penalty area. Koke on the turn, low ball to his right. Sarabia again, clever little scoop pass. Llorente controls it, did it cross the dead ball line. Flag stays down, Dani Olmo drives it, and the shot is blocked by Danielson on the edge of the 6-yard box, and that could have caused Robin Olsen a problem. Half chance for Spain, it remains 0-0.
Brilliant block from Danielson again. Fantastic positioning from him, but it came down from the right-hand side of Spain, building up, trying to get overloads, and it was a right back again. Llorente getting forward, pulls it back to Olmo, and it kind of just sets up on his knee on the half volley, and I think it would have caused the goalkeeper a problem, but Danielson blocked it and helped him out, and again they're protecting their goalkeeper and protecting that clean sheet for sure.
Mikael Lustig seems to have a groin issue at the moment. Stoppage in play. Spain 0, Sweden 0. 27 minutes gone in the second half. Gerard Moreno is coming on. Ferran Torres and Dani Olmo are coming off, and Mikel Oyarzabal of Real Sociedad is also coming on. So 2 more attacking players thrown into the fray by Luis Enrique to try and make the difference. The interesting thing I read in the notes, Karen, about Mikel Oyarzabal in preparation for the game, he's only 5 feet 9 inches tall, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, but he's got size 13 feet, which is enormous for that height. Wow. Isn't it? That's massive, isn't it?
That is.
Yeah. Just pluck these things out of the notes that we
should have saved that for 606 and tested Chris.
Yeah, he would have liked that. He would have liked that. So Lustig's still down. We're waiting for the game to get back underway.
Ali, with 606, would you ask Chris what he would do with the England?
Of course we will.
Can you ask him that for me? I'm just curious. Don't let him sit on the fence either. You know what he's like.
No, we won't let him do that. Emil Kraft is coming on for Sweden, so Lustig is having to come off with the injury. Kraft, who plays his club football for Newcastle and actually stood in for Lustig at the World Cup in 2018 in that quarter-final against England because Lustig was suspended for the game. So Kraft is on. Yeah, and that is one of the questions for the England fans this evening. Your team, any changes that you would make potentially to the England-Scotland game. Jack Grealish didn't get any minutes, did he, for example, against Croatia? So do the England fans possibly think that time to include him or use him off the bench in the Scotland game? Maybe a change at left back? I don't know, but we'll wait to see. We'd like the calls. Ball through the middle here. Might just drop on the edge of the penalty area. Gerard Moreno just wouldn't fall for him. And Robin Olsen comes off his line. It bounces nicely in for him, and he catches it. Danielson at the back. Danielson and Lindelof have done a great job, haven't they?
Been really, really good, both of them in particular. Apart from the little slip earlier for the Morata chance, Danielson hasn't put a foot wrong, really. His positional sense has been there. He's won first balls, he's won second balls, he's blocked key shots. Looks like a really good leader out there as well. And look, you're right, both Lindelof and Danielson have protected their goalkeeper, and between the three of them have been really instrumental in this, keeping this Sweden side with a clean sheet so far.
Yeah, 15 minutes to play. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Seen these sort of games before with Spain at major tournaments. All the possession, all the passing, but just unable to find the goal or eventually get that breakthrough, but really work to wear the opposition down before they get there, unless of course they score early and the other team opens up, and then that gives them space to play. And just looking at Jordi Alba, of course, you remember that stunning performance in the final at Euro 2012 when they ripped Italy to shreds and beat them by 4 goals to 0 on that fabulous run at that time. That was their 3rd consecutive major tournament win. Quaison is battling hard for the ball on the right inside the Spanish half, but Spain have it. Alba plays it across to the right. Here's Laporte, Koke ahead of him, but it's knocked out wide to the right-hand side, and Sarabia looks up and sees Gerard Moreno of Villarreal making the run through the middle. Excellent season for him domestically, 30 goals, 23 of them in La Liga. Would love one for Spain tonight to try and win this opening group game. Thiago in the battle in the heart of midfield, wins it for Spain. Laporte plays it again, wide to this right-hand side. 3 Spanish players waiting in the middle for the cross. Again, it goes wide to the right to Koke. Back it comes to Llorente. Again to Koke on the right, and back again to Llorente. And now across to Pau Torres in the middle of the Swedish half. Gives it to Pedri. Pedri cuts in field, slides a pass, looks for the 1-2 on the edge of the box.
Should have shot.
Sweden have enough numbers, they clear it.
Should have shot. Like I said earlier, now Sweden are getting so deep, so compact, and you're not going to be able to keep passing it through. Take the long-range shot when it opens up. Then they'll be scared next time. Then they'll come out. Then you can make the passes. But you've got to take the long-range shot at times, Spain. And again, I'm thinking, I still can't believe why Thiago didn't start. I've seen the impact he's had since he's come on.
Yeah.
And the confidence and the experience in the Spanish side.
Sarabia's cross, looking for the run at the near post of Oyarzabal, cleared away to the right. Llorente plays it back here to Sarabia, looks up with his left foot, goes for the far post. Olsen has to punch under pressure there from Moreno, and the pressure is building up here from Spain, but they are running out of time in Seville. And Luis Enrique has made it all the way down to the bottom end of his technical area. That's almost level with the edge of the Swedish box. All the Spanish players, the outfield players, inside the Swedish half. Slovakia leading this group after their win against Poland earlier on today. Scotland 0, Czech Republic 2. England beating Croatia yesterday. Scores to react to on 6:06 this evening following this game. 08085 909 693. The lines are open. Book your call. Koke with his right foot just chips a little pass to Pau Torres. Torres with real care. Precise ball to Jordi Alba. Pedri is caught. 2 players down. Pedri and one of the Swedes on the corner of the penalty area. Referee's blown his whistle to stop the game. Feeling there's treatment needed here. Still Spain 0, Sweden 0, and it's Christopher Olsen who's down for Sweden.
You know what, I just keep thinking, Ali, if 10 passes was a goal, Spain would be, you know, far ahead would they be? And I just keep thinking of Belgium and Romelu Lukaku, and when you've got a number 9 that's in red hot form, that can, and that's why we want Harry Kane to be that. You need a number 9, you need a goal scorer, and Spain have got everything bar that. You know, they've got all the possession, passing, they're aggressive, they win it back. You just need that centre forward, you know, and I see it in Belgium. Romelu Lukaku is a game changer, and that's what Spain are missing tonight.
By the way, just talking about the Predictions League on the BBC Sport website that we've got going on with all the, you know, pundits and commentators. What did you go for this game? Can you remember?
I can't remember.
No, I went Spain 1, Sweden 0. So there's just a little part.
Ask me at the end of the game, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
No, I don't know, but
yeah. But that's something to follow as well on the BBC Sport website. Excellent coverage of the Euros there. The predictor game that we're all playing with Mark Lawrenson, who always does it throughout the Premier League season. Christopher Olsen and Pedri getting to their feet, heading towards the last 10 minutes of the game here. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Let me remind you of what we've got commentary-wise for you tomorrow. A couple of crackers, I think. Hungary, Portugal. Chris Sutton doing that one with Ian Dennis. Kicks off at 5 o'clock in Budapest. France, Germany. John Murray and Dion Dublin. Really looking forward to seeing both of them, actually. I mean, the French, obviously, everyone. Are they your tip?
yeah, I had them as my. Did you?
I've gone. Yeah, I mean, it's not the bravest, but it's head, isn't it? You look at the squad and you think they're the strongest.
I think the only team to beat them, I think, is themselves. You know, you've heard little ruffles, and Mbappe's had a little bit of a ding-dong with Giroud, and I think they're the only ones that could, you know, they've got the cap accumulation and the experience, and they've got Kante.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got everything, and I just think, and they can cope with pressure.
Yep, and they've done it before. World champions at the moment, France. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, don't miss it on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. France against Germany. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Into the last 10 minutes in Seville. Enrique waving the red-shirted troops forward. Pedri, the 18-year-old, stretching challenge on him, but he's managed to break through the tackle of Clayson. Ball into that penalty area. Sarabia on the turn. Oyarzábal's cross comes into the box, breaks on the edge of the area, cleared by Forsberg for Sweden. And the two Spanish centre-backs now are as far forward as everyone else. The ball is knocked into the Spanish half. No one is there. No one for Sweden, no one for Spain, apart from Unai Simon, who has to run 40 yards from his goal to take the throw-in. And again, we go back to attack versus defence inside the Swedish half. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Thiago. Cool, he's got right underneath that. He's absolutely clubbed that pass. So unlike him, he's knocked it at least 10 yards too long, over the head of Llorente and out for a throw into Sweden.
You know what, Simon's, I hope he watched the Scotland game earlier, and you know, he's got to stay switched on. If he gets too high or out his position.
That's the one as well for tonight, Karen, I think, for the Scotland fans, in terms of, you know, what they made of the performance. Chris was talking about the team selection and Shea Adams not starting position. I think David Marshall, I think, was just, he's so unlucky, because so many of those shots you see people attempt that Schick did today, and that was an incredible finish. Just don't end up in the back of the net miles wide. They end up in the stands, you scuff them and whatever. It was a remarkable goal. So Scotland fans, we want to hear from you. 08085 909 693, and your thoughts as well on how things stand going into the big one at Wembley on Friday. Christopher Olsen is finally coming off, and Jens Lys Kajust is coming on for Sweden. 21-year-old defensive midfielder, plays his club football for Midtjylland in Denmark. And Bengtsson, Pierre Bengtsson, is also going to come on for Sweden. And Emil Forsberg makes way. And Bengtsson is a left-back who replaced Martin Olsen, former Blackburn man, in this squad. So he'll take up position on the left-hand side where Forsberg played. Substitutions happening aplenty, always breaks up the rhythm. Sweden closing in on a really hard-earned point at the moment. They have had their chances to nick this as well, which I think in terms of the sort of balance of play would have been very, very hard on Spain. But Spain just haven't been able to find the way through. 7 minutes to play. Spain 0, Sweden 0. That's not enough on that to Jordi Alba. Sliding challenge from Seb Larsson, who's still going strong out there. Knocks the ball out of play for a Spain throw.
Yeah, I remember watching Seb Larsson when I used to go and watch Birmingham.
Yeah.
Tried to take free kicks like him, didn't work. But yeah, used to like watching him play, especially as a right midfielder and then centre midfield as well. And then he moved on, didn't he? I think to Sunderland, did he?
Yeah, very good. Arsenal started out onto Birmingham. Sunderland and Hull before heading back to Sweden. Now plays for AIK. Won the title with them in his first season back there in 2018. Here he is trying to win a tackle, and he's missed it. Gerard Moreno on the left, whips that ball in, and it beats everyone. It was a really good cross right across the face of goal. No one there for Spain to get that final touch. Ball is cleared to the halfway line. Laporte chests it down, turns into a pass to Koke. Koke plays it into that Spanish midfield. Thiago quickly on to Pedri. 6 minutes to play. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Jordi Alba with his left foot. Back here to Pedri. Pedri dinks one into the box. Sweden have so many yellow shirts back there. Just a wall that Spain are trying to break down.
That cross, by the way, was sensational. And what did it miss? It missed someone, a number 9, in the centre, just for a little tap in, because that ball was right on the money in the 6-yard line, just crying out for someone, just go in, tap it in, but again, not there.
Spain with everyone, every outfield player back inside the Swedish half. Ball is played across to Pedri, 40 yards from goal, looking for that little 1-2. Oyarzabal couldn't get it back to him. Sweden happy to clear it anywhere. At the moment, 85% possession for Spain at this point in the game. 13 shots compared to Sweden's 4. Just 3 on target. Morata with 2 great chances, one in the first, one in the second. The second, as you said, Karen, in the second half, more of a snapshot, but he dragged that wide of the post, and Sweden hitting the post in the first half as well. Spain pushing forward again. Jordi Alba, ball to Oyarzabal down the left. Back into that Spanish midfield. Thiago flicks on with the outside of his right foot to Pedri. Jordi Alba in space. Enrique right up level with the play, the Spanish coach, hoping that Pedri's going to find a way through to Sarabia there. He can't. Seb Larsson, I think clipped. He was running towards the ball and his legs have clipped Sarabia and he's fallen over him. He's won the free kick.
Well, I think he went looking for it and he's definitely taking his time. It's brave of him to turn in his own penalty area, and he's completely dived. No one's touched him. But he sold the referee a dream and he's killed the momentum, and he's got his team a free kick. But you're right, he definitely didn't get fouled. But
late contender in tonight's game. Simulation game on 6:06. Seb Larsson winning the free kick with a very theatrical fall. Fabian Ruiz of Napoli, last roll of the dice for Luis Enrique, is on as the latest sub. 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes of the 90 to play. Still Spain 0, Sweden 0. Sweden, Slovakia on Friday in St. Petersburg. Spain up against Poland, who've been beaten by Slovakia today. Back here in Seville, that game will be on Saturday. Ball to the right. Sarabia looks for the 1-2. First touch from Fabian Ruiz is not a sure one. He's given the ball away. Llorente makes the tackle. Fabian Ruiz tries to win it back. Sweden clear up the left. Flick on by Quaison. Up to the halfway line. Pau Torres plays to Pedri, the 18-year-old. Into the 88th minute of the game. Moreno. Good curling pass out to the left to the skipper, Jordi Alba. Oyarzabal looking for the 1-2. Pass intercepted, cleared by Sweden. Pau Torres again goes chasing back into his own half. Running out of time now. Pau Torres starts jogging forward. 6:06 on the way. Just over 10 minutes time on 5 Live. Taking the calls until midnight tonight. Chris Sutton ready and waiting. 08085 909 693. Oyarzabal nods it down here to Pedri. Pedri midway inside that Swedish half. Plays the ball across the half to Fabian Ruiz. Long hair flowing. Gives it to Llorente. Into the feet of Sarabia. Ekdal's followed him all the way out there to the right-hand side. Ruiz, not enough on that for Thiago. Had to chase quickly and scamper to win it. Pokes it back to Pau Torres. Forward to Pedri. Pedri trying to break the lines. Crossing from Jordi Alba, looking for the flick at the near post from Gerard Moreno. Contact on him. Ball comes off him, goes behind for a goal kick.
what a pass from Pedri, by the way. He just literally... You never ever play a vertical pass so close to the goal line because it will just go out, but he put swerve on it and used the inside of his foot, picks out Jordi Alba, and he just crosses it in there, and straight away Moreno tried to back heel it, but he was just offside. But
yeah,
Pedri, what a pass.
I think that possibly should have been, well, they took the free kick for the offside, but the effort in the end was actually deflected behind by Danielson again, who got a leg on in the block. Quaison trying to win a 50-50 inside the Spanish half. We're now heading towards the 90th minute. Quaison's here, and Llorente is there to stop him. And charging forward is Bengtsson. Fresh legs wide on the left-hand side. Llorente there again to avert the danger. Has the ball, rolls it up the right touchline. Sweden appeal for a throw-in. Don't get the decision. Spain are going to build this from deep. Thiago across here to Pau Torres. The Spanish fans roaring them forward in the last minute of normal time at the end of this game. Still Spain 0, Sweden 0 at Euro 2020. Pedri with his right foot. Again, looking to try and find the killer pass. Low one to Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz on the turn. Pokes it out to the right. Sarabia looks up, left-footed ball. Good ball. Near post, Moreno with the header. Great save by Robin Olsen. Sweden get it away. That was a late chance for Spain. A little bit more on the header, possibly from Moreno, would have scored.
That was an unbelievable save. He did it with his feet, because I'm not sure, you're right, how much Moreno got contact with the header, but the crossing was brilliant, and they're on the attack again.
Oyarzabal dummies with the right foot, plays it to the left to Jordi Alba. Cross comes in again to that near post, headed up towards the edge of the box. Thiago leaps forward to win ahead of 6 minutes. We've added time at the end of this game. 6 minutes still for Sweden to survive. Another important save from Robin Olsen. We'll have a look at the replay here. Great ball in from Sarabia. Moreno with the downward header, blocks it with his legs.
He didn't get enough on the header, Moreno. The ball in was absolutely brilliant, because it took away Danielson. He couldn't get there, and then the feet to get down quickly with his feet, Olsen, and kick it away. He didn't really have to move any direction left to his right. That would have been 1-0. So again, another missed opportunity from Spain.
Moreno and Morata, number 7 and number 9 for Spain, unable to take the chances this evening. We're into added time in Seville. 6 minutes of it on the way, and 6:06 on the way just after that. Chris Sutton and I taking the call through until midnight tonight on 08085 909 693. Fabian Ruiz to Sarabia, stretching his Koke, goes for the left-footed curler. That was ambitious, goes flashing across the face of goal, and behind for the goal kick. Why not try it? Because nothing else has worked so far. Referee wants to make sure Sweden aren't going to waste any time in added time. Koke, well wide actually in the end with the left foot.
Yeah, it was a good touch from Moreno there. It came in of his right foot, and it just set him up nicely to bend it in with his left foot. He tried to go for the top corner. It was just off target, but at least he's trying. He's had more impact, in the period that he's come on. Just probably him and Thiago for me should have started.
Okay, yeah, Moreno and Thiago, yeah, for Spain. Well, we'll see what happens in the next game. Luis Enrique, don't necessarily want to be interviewing him after this one. Quote I read ahead of the tournament: I might not be the friendliest guy in the world, but I don't think that's important. I am close to my players. He's still willing those players on here. Spain 0, Sweden 0, deep into added time. Pedri, who's had an excellent game in that Spanish midfield this evening at just 18 years old. Fabian Ruiz, left-footed ball back to Marcus Llorente, the right back. Across the middle of the pitch to Pau Torres, midway inside the Sweden half again. Little chip ball from Pedri, great ball. Jordi Alba onto it, cross comes in to the back post, and it just hits Sarabia's knee, falls into the arms of Robin Olsen. It wasn't really a strike on goal, it's hit him and gone towards goal. And again, Spain, with Pedri's pass, cut Sweden open, couldn't find the finish.
It's exactly the same pass again, a vertical pass into Jordi Alba. He gets down that byline, whips it in with his left foot, and I think Moreno tried to head it, and it fell then at the back post for Sarabia, and he wasn't expecting it. Came off his left inside knee, and it was just then took the pace off, and also managed to pick it up, and again, another opportunity gone.
3 minutes to play, 3 minutes of added time to play in Seville. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Agonies of the Spanish fans on our TV screens at the moment. Luis Enrique balling at his team, but Spain, have they given the ball back here?
I think he's apologising because it went out and they tried to play on, and I think he was saying give it back to him, Luis Enrique, and he apologised to the bench of Sweden.
Okay, all calmed down. Robin Olsen, Sweden's goalkeeper, clears with his right foot, headed up in the air. Kleisen wins 2 headers for Sweden. Smashed forward by Alba from left back with his right foot, goes out of play into the arms of Luis Enrique, who holds the ball out.
It's funny, Ali, because I know I keep going on about that number 9 position, and when Spain was so dominant, he actually didn't really play with the number 9, if you remember.
Yeah.
But what that side had, they had a clinical side, and they were ruthless, and when they took chances, boy did they punish you. And this is something that's missing. They don't have that we're going to punish you when you give us that moment, and I don't think they have that instinct.
2 minutes to play. Spain 0, Sweden 0. Are they going to find the late goal? to send the fans wild in Seville. Good dribbling here from Oyarzabal. Crosses blocked. Spain have won themselves a late corner. Yeah, you think of that team that won Euro 2008. Obviously that had Fernando Torres, but you're right, as they went on, Torres in the World Cup in Spain was injured, wasn't he, and drifted in and out of that team. 2012, I know he played, but was more of a bit part player. It was false nines and kind of more of what we've seen from Spain ever since. 0-0 here, minute and a half to play. Set piece for the Spanish. Thiago will take it. 6 or 7 red shirts to aim at in the penalty area. Floated into the far post, headed down. And Robin Olsen comfortably has it covered, goes wide behind for the goal kick. And that might be that with just a minute to play. Sweden have the goal kick. If they can keep the ball or smash it downfield and keep Spain in their half, they're going to get their point.
Well, and you have to give them so much credit, Sweden, because they've worked so hard, they've been so disciplined. In particular, Danielsson, Lindelof, Olsen in goal have been so key with this clean sheet. It has been a team performance. You're asking a lot of Seb Larsson as well to tuck in, to track back. You know, the 2 centre forwards, Isak was brilliant and he just ran himself into the ground. If they get this point, I know there's only a little bit left, but they have worked so hard for it.
Spain have it, and the stopwatch tells us 4 seconds until we get up to the 6 minutes of added time are up. So we are into added on time. Beyond that now, cross into that Swedish penalty area, headed away by Lindelof, might drop to Pedri on the edge of the box, volleyed away by Kajust, and the full-time whistle rings out in Seville. We have our first goalless draw at Euro 2020. Spain had the ball for so much of the game, created the chances, couldn't finish them off. Morata had 2 fabulous opportunities. Gerard Moreno off the bench in the second half, couldn't finish with his head. Sweden worked ever so hard for their point, and they got it, Karen Carney.
Absolutely, it was a massive team performance. I'm just watching Lindelof taking his boots off because he looks so tired, but Lindelof, Danielsson, and as I said, Olsen, absolutely sensational in blocking that goal and protecting and getting that clean sheet. Fair play to them, but you know, all the possession doesn't mean anything because the only stat that matters is goals scored and goals conceded, and it was 0-0, and credit to Sweden.
Yeah, full-time in Seville, 3 times European champions. Spain are not off to a fly. Couldn't find a way through. Credit Sweden for the hard work and the defensive organisation. Could have snatched it themselves as well, but in the end it's finished Spain 0, Sweden 0.
Ali, Karen, thank you very much. We're going to get Ali to go and prepare for 6:06, which is coming up very shortly, and Karen is going to be with Guillaume Balaguer and Micah Richards. We're going to record the latest edition of the Daily Euros very, very shortly. Let's just wrap up what we've seen first. Jonas Olsen is still with us. Jonas, a point against Spain. There you go.
Yeah, and a good one, of course. Sweden stuck to their game plan very well, I thought, defended well. Obviously, Spain had a few chances in the end, but you know, in this game, the burden of proof was on Spain, not Sweden. Sweden was satisfied with 0-0 and did well. Maybe they didn't deserve it, but you know, they could have snatched it in the other end with Isak and especially the chance that had after an hour.
Guillaume, we could have. We could have seen that coming, couldn't we? Do you know what I mean? From quite early on the game, you thought, are they going to take a chance?
No,
yeah,
is the answer, and I think no will be the answer in most of the games. I'm sure that playing like this, Spain is able to score a goal eventually, but it's quite clear that Sweden knew the weaknesses of Spain, and a lot of things that Spain did were wonderful. The